Hi, everyone. It's Tessa.
And Joe.
From the Unveiling Paradise podcast.
Tessa, summer is almost here, and so many of our listeners are about to have their epic destination wedding.
And we are so excited for you guys.
Before the big day, guys, we want you to make sure you listen to these 3 episodes.
Episode 62, Deep Diving Your Wedding Ceremony.
Episode 53, Questions Your Wedding Guests Will Ask.
And episode 31, the final countdown to your wedding day.
And if you're planning your wedding here in Hawaii, hit us up and ask us about our Unveiling Paradise podcast promo.
Happy planning.
All right, welcome everyone to the Unveiling Paradise podcast. Today we are talking about some of my favorite things, food and beverage. Tessa, welcome to the show. What do you think? Food and beverage?
Food and drinks are so important. I think food is everything, right? I'm a big believer in the fact that at the end of the day, when guests leave, they remember the food. On the flip side, the alcohol, if it's not good drinks, people will talk about a bad bar forever. So that's why today I'm so excited to introduce our guest. We have Chad McDonald, owner of Stir Beverage. Chad, welcome.
Hey. Welcome. Hey.
Hey, welcome. So happy to have you here. Woohoo!
Yeah. Joe, Tessa, thanks for having me on board. I've been excited about this for weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have too.
You are our bartending savant, genius, Jedi warrior.
Guru.
Everything.
He's amazing, guys.
Everybody loves Chad. Everybody loves your company.
Chad.
How did you get started?
Yeah, a little bit about me and my experience. I'm originally from Texas. I've been here in the Hawaiian Islands for a couple of decades, and I started Stir 13 years ago. My biggest goals were to create an elevated bar and cocktail experience and to create a service where our brides and grooms don't have to lift a single finger.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding 13 years, today we have a huge team here on Oahu, a beautiful shop and tasting room in Kailua. We've got an amazing team on Maui, and we are working on getting set up and established on Kauai as we speak as well. It's going to be so much fun.
I love it.
Well, we are so excited to have you here today, Chad. What's really hard to do on a podcast is actually visualize your setup, your drinks. I mean, like everything that you touch looks gorgeous. I mean, it's made for Pinterest. Your bar setups are made for Pinterest. Just even like the little details.
Well, it's the drinks and the garnish. You put so much thought into that. The elevated service and signature drinks.
That's kind of what we want to talk about today. We want to get into this. How do you elevate your bar experience? So moving from a cooler full of Trulies, right, to
There's nothing wrong with Truly.
I love Trulies. I do.
To that experience that your guests are going to just, fall in love with and customizing that experience for each one of your clients.
Yep. So let's get started. Welcome to Unveiling Paradise, your go-to destination wedding podcast. I'm Tessa, wedding planner and owner of Fred & Kate Events.
And I'm Joe, wedding and adventure photographer of Joseph Esser Photography. We are based in Hawaii, one of the biggest, most popular locations for destination weddings.
We want to share our real-life experiences with you, give you insight from a professional's perspective, and still make sure you're having fun in the process.
We're huge believers in the fact that planning a destination wedding can be one of the most amazing experiences, and we want to bring you along.
We're so excited to talk with you about weddings, Hawaii, and everything else under the sun.
So pack your bags and let's get started.
So Chad, I'm super excited that we have you here. Whenever I'm meeting with couples, the first thing that I always ask them is, what are you looking for? Where do we start for your wedding? And I would say 95% of my couples will say, I want good food, I want good drinks. And I think, we all know, what does that mean? What is good food? What is good drinks, right?
Everybody remembers horrible food and horrible drinks. But on the flip, everybody remembers amazing food and amazing drinks. And I think that's something that when you're planning your wedding, it's such a crucial part of the entire experience for your guests and for the couple, right? And so this is why, we have so much to talk about, but good food, good drinks. We're talking about drinks today.
We're talking about drinks. And so what I try to do, right? Like, for example, with food, good food, like what does that mean? Are you talking about, Asian food, Italian? Do you want buffet? Do you want plated? And so for us today with good drinks, let's break that down. Like, what does that mean by good drinks? We want Chad to kind of talk a little bit about signature drinks, because I think that is a huge part of a good bar. Am I wrong? Am I right?
A huge part.
Yes,
Signature cocktails are one of
right.
the most important things about the day. And one of my big goals when I started the company 13 years ago was to really create unique cocktails that are beautiful, fragrant, and delicious, right? Cocktails that have your guests talking about it for weeks and months to come. We create memories with this bar service, and a huge piece of that is the signature cocktails, absolutely. And that's a really fun way also to showcase your personality and how you are and some things that you like, right? And by these custom his and hers, or the his and the hers and the theirs, or the his and the hers and your dogs, or whatever, right? So signature cocktails, and we're known for our signature cocktails.
Wait, can I just stop you a second? What is a signature cocktail for everyone who's like listening and maybe is like, does that
Good
mean?
question, Joe. So signature cocktails are the featured cocktails. These are the beautiful craft garnishes, craft cocktails that your guests are going to enjoy all night, the ones we're going to put on the menu for you. These are the ones that are going to be beautiful, fragrant, and delicious.
Backing it up a second. So sometimes it'll be a his and hers. So like it, or a her and her, whatever it is. Like, so what would that be? Like, what are some examples of what you've done for like kind of customizing and like, creating that for the guest experience?
Yeah, it really is a matter of personal preference. Cocktails and the way we determine those for our brides and grooms start with tastings. We do in-person tastings at our beautiful tasting room in Kailua. We talk about our service. Our brides and grooms get to meet some of the team. They get to meet me, and we try 8, 9, 10, 11 of our signature drinks. They're so much fun.
Why haven't you invited me yet?
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming. It's so
Just
close,
checking.
I promise.
Okay.
I promise. And so this is where the signature cocktails start. Our clients get to try a bunch of our drinks, and they come away from that choosing their cocktails. Now, this is really a matter of personal preference. I like rum. I like tequila. I don't like bourbon. Vodka makes me crazy, whatever. It starts with your personal preference. Yeah. It starts with your flavor palettes. We don't like banana. We love raspberry. We're allergic to mint. We love pineapple, right?
Right.
We get a bunch of tasting notes and preferences on your palates. We create a beautiful cocktail menu, and then we come away with you and the chance to pick which signatures you want. We're making a statement with these signatures, right? We put a cocktail on the bar in front of your guest, and we want it to be beautiful first, right? Oh, the fresh mint, the fresh raspberries, dehydrated orange. You bring it up to your mouth to take a drink. We want it to smell amazing, right? Oh my God, that orange smells so good. The mint smells good. I can smell the bourbon back there. And then we want you to take a drink and just be blown away, right? It's all the senses, right? It's not just a delicious cocktail. It's a cocktail that is also beautiful and smells amazing. It's a cocktail that reads amazing on the menu when you walk up, and before you've ever even seen the cocktail, you read about it. Oh, a Chiave smoked old fashioned.
Oh my gosh, I know you're going to say that. That's
what
like
is
my
that?
jam. I love it. It's amazing.
Torched Chiave wood, barrel-aged bitters, a coconut sugar, bourbon, fresh orange. Oh my God, what is Chiave, right? And then we torch this fresh Chiave on a marble slab, and we make this absolutely amazing, beautiful, fragrant, delicious Chiave smoked old fashioned. And people are talking about that for weeks and weeks to come, right?
Right.
We create memories with these signature cocktails.
The his and her drinks, I think, is so important for a wedding too, because like I know Tessa and I, like we have completely different tastes. She likes gin. I think it's disgusting.
What?
Like, I think it's like, but I'm a bourbon guy, so like I think that's also the thing about like the his and her drinks. It's not just like creating that drink that's only going to be enjoyed by your other half, and also for your guests, you get to share your taste, your like the things that you are in love with through cocktails. I think that's such an amazing way to personalize your wedding.
Sure. And they're so important. I mean, we've all been to weddings where you had a gin and tonic that had too much gin to even drink. We've had, crappy Mai Tais at weddings, or just very par, if not subpar bar service. We've all been there to weddings like that. One of my biggest goals was to really change the concept or the idea about what kind of cocktails we could enjoy at weddings, to really create and provide a craft style of cocktail service at weddings, where so many of us over the years have just gotten, par basic cocktails that are very unmemorable.
We had Chad for an event we did for the Wedding Association, the Oahu Wedding Association.
So much fun.
It was so fun. And what was really cool is it's all of these wedding industry vendors. We don't get to drink at weddings, guys. As much as we want to, we can't drink at weddings. We're working. So I really wanted to work with Chad. I wanted to create signature drinks. And what was really cool is I was in charge of the party, so I got to choose the drinks myself. So it was all gin. I'm kidding. I worked with Chad, and we picked 2 of the most popular drinks. What was amazing is you had all of these wedding vendors who have seen these drinks at weddings and never got to taste them. So now they experience the looking at the menu. Oh my gosh, which one should I do? He did do the Chiave smoked old fashioned. So again, he has this glass. He's smoking the wood. It's got that visual effect. And then when you taste it, right, you taste the smokiness. You see it I would guess, I don't know, I don't drink old fashions, but
You do taste this movie.
Yeah.
And it's dinner and a show. You know, it's not only just amazing drinks and service, it's theatrics, right? It's engagement,
it
entertainment,
really is.
education.
Is it called flair? Is it pushing it if I call it the flair?
That might be a little push, but it's yeah.
But it was just, and so we had 2 drinks. One of them was very pink. The detail that they put on the garnish, the toothpicks were metal toothpicks. So it's not just this ghetto wood toothpick.
Plastic sword toothpick.
No, it's just everything was so elevated. And again, looking at it from a client standpoint versus a vendor standpoint was such a huge difference. And everyone got to experience that. And so I'm just so happy that we were able to do it. I think Joe may have had a couple drinks that night.
Joe had 11. I counted.
We ran out of alcohol, guys.
I don't remember. I'll take you at your word.
I think it was fun.
I'm pretty sure he left his phone there too.
I also want to say this. I hate gin, but Chad's gin drinks were actually so good that I was like, woo, let's do this. So, I mean, that's the other thing is it's not just like your boring cocktails like you're saying, the gin and tonic, that's not that exciting. Right. And I think that's the experience we dream of for our clients is to be able to like just be in this sort of wonderland of excitement and trying new things and tasting new things. Okay, Chad, we have so many questions for you. I think just sort of high level, how do you create that elevated bar experience for your clients? Because you are so amazing at it. And it's always something that everyone walks away with. Like, if we could give you a 10-star review on you, we would. How do you create that? Like, what are some of your tips to create that for your wedding day?
That's a great question, Joe. And it really is about personalizing the service, right? We consider it a concierge style of beverage service, right? Once you bring us on board.
I like that.
It is, yeah. And we're going to hold your hand through the whole time leading up to the day you say your vows. I think an elevated service really all starts with aesthetics. It all starts with visuals, right? Mm-hmm. It's making sure, first and foremost, you have a beautiful bar, right? You don't want a table with the linen. We've got a fleet of beautiful bar fronts our clients can choose from, right? And after that, it's the little details, right? It's beautiful bar menus that are personalized and customized. It's fresh herbs and fresh garnishes. It's having your glassware arrayed in a beautiful way and not having a bunch of plastic and paper all over the bar, right? It's little things that if you did 2 or 3 of them, you might not notice, but if you do 50 of these tiny little things, it creates this really, really gorgeous service. And it all starts, I think, with aesthetics and attention to detail.
If you think of the difference of experience, if you're drinking an old fashioned out of a plastic cup that's, made for, the recycling bin versus a double old-fashioned glass. Sure. I mean, it's just a completely different experience and feeling, right?
Totally different experience. And for budgetary purposes, I get sometimes people want to use eco cups, but the feel of a nice, proper cocktail glass, especially if it's a designer glass, is, that's the first thing.
But be honest, those plastic cups, I bet they kill you when people take it out.
It makes me crazy. Yeah, it really does.
It kills me
it's hard to doll up a plastic cup. Yeah. It's hard to make plastic look pretty. So.
Sometimes I have the little fancy ones with the gold flecks on it.
Those are nice.
But once you put the drink in it, you can't tell, and you're like, tell. I just wish you were real glass. Yeah. Another way to elevate, right, is not just the glassware, because the glassware is gorgeous, real glassware. There's also, elevated glassware. So not just standard glassware, but you have the vintage-looking ones. You have all of these other really, really gorgeous ones. But in addition to that, taking a step even further back of the aesthetics, it's the bar front. You can have a standard table with linen, and that's fine. But you can also have just these really, really gorgeous bar fronts, wooden bar fronts, acrylic bar fronts, round bar fronts. There's so many different ways that you can do it now and create this really amazing, memorable bar that seamlessly ties into the aesthetics of your entire wedding. And that's what guests are going to take and remember from your wedding day.
Totally agree. Bar fronts are crucial, yeah. And whoever you're getting your bar service from, they should have the ability to bring on bar fronts. They should be able to provide them, or there's always going to be rental companies in your area you can source from. And it all starts, again, like you said, aesthetics. And as you're walking up to this service, this bar service, the first thing you're going to see is this bar front, right?
Right.
And with our events, we find we have these big, beautiful bars, and throughout the night, it just creates just these situations where people are just hanging around the bar all night. They're big and beautiful, and it gives your guests a place to spend time, to hang out.
And let's be honest, this is where everybody's going to be at a wedding, is at the bar. So, like, if everybody's going to be there, that should be a centerpiece to your reception.
A hospitable area that welcomes your guests to come over, sit, order a drink.
We've done a few weddings together, Chad, and it's funny because the bar was actually the focal point. So, we're at these really gorgeous beachfront properties, and we put the bar where the backdrop is the ocean because the couples knew that the bar would be the gathering place. So they wanted it to be with the gorgeous ocean in the background and everyone gathering around the bar.
Sure.
That was their dream. And I think because, again, aesthetics, the bar needs to look good if it's going to be the focal point.
Sure. And like you said in the beginning, that you ask your clients what's the most important, and it's typically food and drinks. And we have brides and grooms email us all the time after we provide bar service, and they're like, we had no idea, Chad. We just didn't know it could be so beautiful. We just didn't know.
We are here to blow their minds.
Yeah. Blow your mind.
One thing, Chad, that I want to ask you about, because this is my new current obsession. It's those fancy ice cubes. They're humongous. They're clear, but they're like customized. Like they're customized with like their initials or a flower or a heart. Like, how in the world, and is that a thing?
It is a thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a really
Tell me everything.
Yeah, it's a really great way to elevate your service and your cocktails even more, especially with cocktails that appreciate a big block of ice, like high alcohol cocktail. Bourbon and Scotch cocktails go real well with those.
Do they?
And they're a really, really fun way to have some extra fun and to personalize the service. We get them made for our clients all the time. We do crystal glacier clear spheres. We do cubes. We can get your initials in them. We can get the word love or aloha or your date in them. We can put, fresh cinnamon sticks in them. We can create them with fresh anise in them, star anise.
I love those big fat ice cubes in my old fashions, but to actually customize them for your wedding, I've never seen that. That sounds awesome. I love it.
They're so much fun. And when we use those, the first thing we do is we put a glass in front of a guest. We drop one of them inside it so it sits in front of them for a moment so they can enjoy it, see it, appreciate it, get photos. We build the cocktail and then we serve it over the ice. They're lots of fun.
It literally blows people's minds.
so
Like,
much
I love seeing when they see it, because a lot of times the couple will order it and they don't tell their guest. And so when the guest orders a drink and they see it, it just creates even more excitement.
They're so much fun. And listen, a lot of our brides and grooms think if they have 200 guests, they need to get 200 or 300 cubes. That's not the case. Get 50, 60, 70. Let a lot of your guests see it and enjoy it. And then, when you run out, it's okay. No harm, no foul. But they're a lot of fun, and it's a really great way to have fun with the service.
Okay, I want to add one more thing, and I think this is something that, if you're not planning your wedding in Hawaii, but you're planning it somewhere else, let's say you're planning your wedding in Cuba or whatever, I think what's really neat about bartending service when you can customize it to the local flavors of that location, that's such an important thing to do. And again, it creates that experience for that destination wedding.
Sure, absolutely. We've been doing that with cuisine for thousands of years. You know, like why wouldn't it be the same for cocktails? And like Joe said, whether you're in Mexico or Colombia or in France, like wherever you are, capitalize on where you're at. Capitalize on the fresh ingredients and the local ingredients and the local vendors that you have. Here in Hawaii, some of the stuff that we use that's local all the time. We use fresh mango that's grown out in Waialua. We use fresh pineapples here. We get viola flowers grown in a backyard in Kaimuki by a little old lady named Barbara. And, fresh, local, fun ingredients. It's a really wonderful way to not only showcase like your personality, but where we're at in the world and some of the amazing stuff you might have to offer in that area.
Well, and I love that you compared it to food, because you're right. We've always stressed, eating local. So why wouldn't we create drinks and tie it into the local culture?
And forever, we've wanted our food and the dishes and cuisine that we eat to be beautiful. Why don't we want our cocktails to be beautiful as well, right?
Absolutely.
I do.
Yeah, and a lot of that starts with local ingredients. It starts with, just like our bar setups and how beautiful they are, it starts with this, with garnishes, and aesthetics for the cocktail, dehydrated fruits, fresh herbs, this, that.
The other kind of side of this coin, I guess, regarding elevated service, right? Because aesthetics is a big one, but I also want to talk about the service, right? The service plays a huge part of any bar. What are your thoughts about that, Chad?
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a great question. Because listen, wherever you're at in the world, whatever bar service is providing the bar service, they can have the most beautiful bar in the world. They can have the most beautiful, fragrant, delicious cocktails in the world. But if they don't have the service to support that, right, then what good is it, right? And what I mean by that is there's a number of things you want to make sure when you're bringing on a bar service. You want to make sure they're going to staff appropriately. right?
Right.
If you have 200 guests and they send
You don't
one
want
bartender,
one bartender.
that doesn't
Oh my
work.
gosh.
If they send 200 guests, you need to have 3 to 4 bartenders, period, and at least 2 bar fronts, things like that. Do you offer tableside? Ask questions. So here in Hawaii, we love to do tableside service.
What's tableside service?
Tableside service, when your guests are seated, we're going to make 2 or 3 passes around with wine, and we're going to do a really nice tableside wine service. And we love, love, love doing tableside champagne service as well. Same concept. Welcome passes. That's another one for elevated service. You offer welcome passes, right? The guests are arriving to the venue. We do a beautiful tray pass of some beer, wine, or champagne. One of my favorite things to do is to do a tray pass of rosé champagne with a fresh stem of lavender in each glass. It's simple, but it's elevated. It creates memories. It's a photo op. It's fragrant. It's beautiful, right? Just little things like that to elevate the service. So staffing appropriately, what other extras do you offer? We have a rule at our events to where the lead bartender at every event has to check on the bride and groom personally 3 times throughout the night.
I love that.
Little things like that. It's their special day. We cannot forget about them, right? So it's little things like that that I think really, really create the elevated service that complements the aesthetic design.
What about actually having real bartenders versus like just banquet staffs that are, as I see that as a photographer, I'm like,
guys, Chad's rolling his eyes.
I'm really getting heated up.
We do not want Chad to get heated.
You
Calm
do
yourself,
not.
Joe.
Real bartenders versus random or banquets. Nothing against banquet bartenders, but it's apples and oranges, right? There's a few things that come to mind with having professional bartenders that are knowledgeable of drinks and how to use bar tools. What I mean by that is if I give you a mixing tin and you start shaking a cocktail and you've never done it, you're going to look like an idiot. There's no way to avoid that, right? And so we have our team that are shaking 2 tins at a time, and you can tell they know what they're doing. They're double pouring cocktails. They're talking to you while they're doing it, right? Things like that. Another one is the ability to freestyle. One of the things we're known for at events is making cocktails off menu. That means making something that we're not featuring. I like rum. Can you make me something with rum? You bet. Do you like lime? Do you like spicy? Do you like this? Yeah, cool. Give me a second. Let me make you something. Yeah. You make Auntie a drink, a custom drink, and she's just blown away for it, right?
Right.
Things like that. And then lastly is the ability to stay cool under pressure. Real bartenders are going to have that ability versus banquet bartenders or folks that aren't real bartenders. And what I mean by that is if you have 200 guests, we're going to staff appropriately. We're going to have a couple of bars, but that's still 200 guests. You need to be able to make multiple drinks, have several drinks in your head, talk to Auntie about how pretty your earrings are at the same time, and support your team if they need it, right? You need to stay cool under pressure. You need to look like you're good, right? No matter how you feel inside, no matter how busy you may be, right? And those are a few things that I think are the difference between real bartenders and, the type of bartenders we have versus, a banquet bartender or a staff bartender.
And I think that's something that we talk about for all the vendors when you're planning your wedding. Work with professionals that do weddings and they do that service excellently.
Right. Not your uncle who knows how to make a gin and tonic, right? He's not a bartender.
But there's nothing wrong with gin and tonics.
Nothing wrong with your uncle or gin and tonics. Don't get me wrong. But
I love a gin and tonic.
Hire professionals, ask questions, and then let them do what they excel at.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
God, he's so cool.
God, so good. Right.
So I've seen a lot of really cool trends at weddings recently, and I would love to get your feedback, Chad. Like, love or hate. So I'm just going to kind of throw these at you, love or hate, and then we can kind of go back and talk about it later. So don't say too much. I just want to know if you love or hate them.
This is fun.
I guess I'm going to ask you and Joe. I'm going to test both of you. Okay.
I'm going to say what Chad says.
I know.
He's so cool.
So cool. Okay. Chad, champagne towers, love or hate?
Love.
Love? Joe?
Totally love them.
Oh my God, I hate them. I do. Okay. What about, I've seen this a lot when the couple is entering and they're spraying champagne as you enter. Love or hate?
I hate it.
Hate it? Joe?
I love it.
I also hate it.
I don't like that.
I know. I'm like, Chad, I'm cool. Okay. What about champagne toast? Love or hate?
Love.
Love?
Love them. Yep.
Yeah, I love
Go
it
for
too. Okay. And then finally, beer kegs. Love or hate?
Love. But I'll have to tell you why.
Oh my God.
I love them for my own reasons too, probably.
I hate them. Okay. That was the quiz. Joe failed.
I got 2 of the 4 right.
I don't even know what you answered. Just Chad wins. Okay, let's go back and let's talk about champagne towers. You love them.
I do.
Why?
I think they're beautiful. There are a lot of, I see brides and grooms light up when they do it. They're fun. Plus, if you have some really, really beautiful, sexy coupes, champagne coupes.
So the coupes are kind of the lower, shallow
The
ones
coupes
versus
are
the
those
tall, narrow.
shallow kind of bird bath looking, old school.
They do look like a bird
That's
bath.
how we are. Real beautiful. And we have some of the prettiest beveled crystal coupes you'll ever see. And when we do champagne towers with them, they're just really, really gorgeous. They're lots of fun. We usually do a smaller champagne tower with 20, 30 glasses, and then we pour the rest of the champagne and just pass it out to guests. They're a blast. They're always fun. My only beef with them is just they're a little nerve-wracking. You know, you're worried some kid's going to run by and bump the table and it's going to come down or somebody might knock it. Outside of that, I love them.
So you do not like the spraying of the champagne, right?
I do not. And I can see how it's fun for them.
Chad, we're classy. We're classy.
It's so
Joe,
fun for photos, though. It's such a good shot.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's hard when we work with someone so unclassy.
I know. I just want to take classy photos.
I get for photos why it'd be super fun, but I feel like it's sticky, and then it's a mess
sticky
everywhere.
And it's a mess to clean up. That's my only beef. For photo ops, I totally get, I'm with you, Joe. I can see how beautiful that'd be to get the shot, but
As a wedding planner, I'm always worried about people slipping on the dance floor too. You know, like logistics and safety. I'm like, someone's going to fall. Champagne toasts, I think we all agreed that we love.
I do think the nice thing about a champagne toast is you're getting everyone to like cheers together, which is always, you know,
which
like,
is nice.
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. And people like it. Brides and grooms, it's fun. Plus with us, we do the tableside service. We come around and do it tableside, which is a real lovely touch.
That is really nice.
Okay, I get to take this last one, beer kegs. Chad and I love them.
I will give you a caveat about the draft bar. There's a reason I love doing keg beers. The reason I love doing keg beers is because we have a gorgeous draft keg bar that we built out of salvaged wood. It's an absolutely beautiful piece. Now, if you've got kegs behind the bar and it looks like you're having a frat house party and you're just pumping the keg and serving it into Dixie cups, that's a little different.
Well, and it has to be chilled.
But if you've got a proper way to serve it, where if you've got an elevated way to serve it, draft, beer, especially if it's self-serve, it can be a really fun thing. Our draft bar, all night, whenever we set that up, guys are hanging around, drinking beer and laughing and talking, and it's kind of a focal piece, So really depends on how you serve it.
And it's classy that way, right? You're making that experience it's not like,
we're making what is typically not a very classy experience, beer out of a keg, into something that feels a little classier and much more elevated, right?
That's fair.
All right, moving into our next question for me, Chad. This is something that Tessa and I argue about a lot. She likes some horrible alcohol, and I like the good stuff, right? And so,
Disagree.
So, like, are there certain alcohols that are more crowd-pleasing? So, like, is a vodka going to be more of a crowd pleaser than, say, some nasty gin drink?
Yeah, all that goes to a matter of preference. Really a matter of personal preference. There are spirits that are less popular than others. Rum is probably one of our least popular spirits that we use.
What about gin?
Gin is probably one of them as well. It's probably rum and gin is least. The
So
spirits,
people don't have taste.
The spirits that we requested most are bourbon, vodka, and tequila. Mezcal is a hot spirit that's really, really gaining traction right now in the wedding industry and RD events. So that's becoming popular.
What is mezcal?
Mezcal it's made from the agave root plant. It's a smoked agave plant, smoked for days in a pit, and that's what gives mezcal that notoriously smoky quality. And for a lot of people, that's too much for their palates, but that's because they get in front of these would-be prohibition bartenders that just want to make real spirit-driven cocktails, right?
Is mezcal it tastes like a tequila though, right?
It's got a tequila taste, but it's big and smoky. Real big smoky. And that's too much for some people. But I love using this ingredient while we're talking about it because it's an educational ingredient for me. And what I mean is I like to make cocktails for people that don't like mezcal and then they love it. For example, we have a mango mezcal cocktail that's got Cointreau, black pepper, fresh lemon, organic mango, and mezcal. We serve it to folks that don't like mezcal all the time and they go crazy for it.
Yeah.
Because they've never had it the right way.
Awesome. So just to confirm, nobody likes gin except for Tessa.
Correct.
No, okay, but what I want to add to that is I feel like whiskey, bourbon, like they're just kind of trendy. They're popular now, but nobody actually likes it. It's just because old fashions are popular again. Everybody thinks they like it. They don't. It's gross. That's all I wanted to add.
All right, Chad, I want to thank you so much for being our awesome guest today. and finally solving the debate of whether gin or bourbon is better. Yes.
It's gin.
Before we let you go, can you tell all of our listeners how they can find out more about your company and your services?
Absolutely, absolutely. Joe, Tessa, thank you so much for having me today. It really has been a pleasure. And if you want to get a hold of us for any reason, if you want to come by our shop in Kailua and meet us or have drinks or see what we're doing, you can find us online. You can just Google Stir Beverage. We come right up. We have a website, stirbeverage.com. We've got tons of social media under the hashtag @StirBev, and we're all over the internet world. We would love to chat with you about any event where you might need bar service. We'd love to have you into our shop. And reach out and contact us anytime.
And just confirming that means me, right? I can
It
go
does.
to the
You
shop
specifically,
because I haven't
Tessa.
been invited yet. Chad.
Not you, Joe. Because you drink. You drink bourbon.
Exactly.
Yeah. Stir Beverage. We'd love to chat with you folks for any reason, anytime.
And thanks everyone for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was so fun talking to Chad. If you like the show, please like, follow, subscribe. Listen, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple, we are on literally every podcast platform possible. Subscribe on Patreon, email us your questions, and we will catch you back here soon. Bye.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Aloha.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unveiling Paradise.
If you enjoy our show, please follow us and rate us on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts. It would really mean a lot.
And don't forget to also get on our mailing list and follow us on Instagram. Just do it already.
Until next time, this is Tessa.
And this is Joe.
And don't forget, your happily ever after
It's just a plane ride away.